Okay, this is uh, banking and insurance regulation class. Uh, I will slightly change the uh, title of the course to financial sector regulation in order to cover new areas into this course. Uh, the topics that I'm going to cover are four, or I'll divide the topics into four: banking regulation, insurance regulation, regulation of non-banking financial institutions, and finally some cross-cutting topics that are relevant to all these three sectoral regulations. Okay, so first we are going to look banking sector regulation, but before that, I think it's better to highlight some introductory matters. One, financial sector regulation is it refers to the entirety of actors. I mean, the entirety of the legislations and the institutions that implement these legislations on the entire you know group or body of actors in the financial services industry in the country. So financial services, what are financial services? Loan, saving, money transfer, insurance, guarantee, investment advisory, payment facilitations, just payment services, and so on. And the institutions that provide these services are primarily the banks, microfinance institutions, insurance, savings and credit cooperatives, postal services, uh, other companies like financial leasing companies, mobile money providers, card issuers, and so on. So some of these types of companies are new to Ethiopia. A few are, I mean, being contemplated to come into existence in the country in a few years' time. So the organization, the entity that regulates all these groups of actors, is the National Bank of Ethiopia. So by financial sector regulation, we refer to the laws on the one hand and the institutions that provide these services, and then thirdly the regulator. So we'll be referring to all these three uh, uh, entities by financial sector regulation. Yeah, because I'll be very brief in this presentation. I have to first give you briefly what are the relevant laws uh, that, that this presentation, this discussion is based on. I'll not refer to each of these laws later on under different subjects that I'm going to present to you. So let me give you the laws beforehand. Primarily, when we refer to the National Bank of Ethiopia, we refer to its establishment proclamation 593/2008, which is a very important law as far as financial sector regulation is concerned, because that is the law that gives the National Bank power to regulate. And then there is Banking Business Proclamation. Uh, this is this refers to primarily Proclamation 592 of 2008. It's amended by Proclamation 1159 of 2019, very recently. And the Microfinance Business Proclamation number 626 2009, and this proclamation was also amended by Proclamation 1164 of 2019. In relation to insurance, there is Insurance Business Proclamation 746 2012, amended by 1163 2019. And in relation to leasing, there is capital goods finance business proclamation. In short, we can refer to as financial leasing business proclamation. So initially the proclamation was 103 1998, a very old proclamation, and it was amended by proclamation 807 2014. Not much important, but I mean, if it has to be mentioned, there is also postal banking regulation 165 2009, which gives the postal enterprise, the Ethiopian postal enterprise, to do certain financial services. So we can say that all these laws are sectoral laws, authorizing specific sectors to do financial services, and all this except the postal banking regulation. The others, the banking business proclamation, the microfinance business proclamation, insurance business proclamation, and financial leasing business proclamation, all have directives, many directives. In some cases, lots of directives. Like in the banking business, there are more than 70 directives that have been enacted so far. In insurance and in microfinance business, also the plurality of directives, and in financial leasing also many directives. So all those directives are very, very important when it comes to the practice of financial services industry in the country. Cross-sectoral laws are laws that apply to all the other sectors, laws which are not limited to one particular sector like banking sector or insurance sector. Those cross-sectoral laws include the anti-money laundering and countering of terrorism financing proclamation number 657 2009. There is also a regulation 171 2009 which establishes the Financial Intelligence Center. There is the National Payment System Proclamation 718 2011. This National Payment System Proclamation actually is somewhat cross-sectoral as far as, because it applies to banks, microfinance institutions, and payment system providers or payment service providers. I mean, there are directives which have been, which are being issued by the National Bank to implement this National Payment System Proclamation. There is also Movable Security Rights Proclamation, which is a very new proclamation, Proclamation 1147 2019. There is also a directive to implement that proclamation, but this proclamation, we say it's cross-sectoral because it applies to banks, microfinance institutions, leasing businesses, and even insurance. But the whole purpose of this proclamation is to systematize and simplify movable security or movable collateral registration. A new law which is under development, initially I didn't include actually this in the course outline, is the Capital Markets Proclamation. I will say a few things about it at the end of this presentation. So there is that law. There is also a law on credit cooperatives, which are known as savings and credit cooperatives or SACCOs. Institutions which are very similar with microfinance institutions, but for some policy reasons which are not under the ambit of the Central Bank or the National Bank of Ethiopia to regulate. So all this constitute the legislative framework for financial sector regulation in Ethiopia.